Welcome back, guys. Another week, another game between Inter and Barcelona. This time is the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals in San Siro after the incredible 3-3 draw from last week. It was a day full of updates on the Inter front and on the Barcelona front. There were pre-match press conferences from Milan with Simone Inzaghi and Alessandro Bastoni speaking for Inter, Hansi Flick and Dani Olmo providing the Barcelona updates. On the Inter front, all the eyes were on Benjamin Pavard and Lautaro Martinez. Two injured players for the Nerazzurri who missed the last game against Verona. Pavard even missed the first leg against Barcelona last week, while Lautaro got injured right before the end of the first half. So he missed the game against Verona. He was supposed to be assessed in a few days, but in these few days he made some steady improvements. And so today, and this is the big news of the day, Lautaro trained with the rest of the team, completed a training session, and was tested in the starting 11. So he's expected to start against Barcelona tomorrow. What happened today? Lautaro and Pavard trained initially separately, so they warmed up not with the rest of the team, but then they were supposed to continue the training session alongside the rest of the team. Pavard, however, who seemed to be in slightly better shape than Lautaro Martinez coming to today's training session, still had issue in his ankle, and so he didn't complete the training session with the rest of the team. He still feels discomfort, and he already left the Inter training ground, so he's not going to spend the night with his teammates. He's going to return tomorrow to Appiano Gentile for one final training session, very light, said Simone Inzaghi, before the game, but he is very unlikely to recover and to even be available against Barcelona. So Jan Bisek was tested in a three-man defense with Francesco Acerbi and Alessandro Bastoni. So coming into Monday's training session, Pavard seemed to be in a good way to recover because he had partially trained with the rest of the team on Sunday, while Lautaro trained separately yesterday. Today, it was exactly the opposite because Lautaro was able to be, spend most of the training session with his teammates, while Pavard has already returned home and is not expected to be available. There is something very interesting, I think, from the Simone Inzaghi press conference about Lautaro Martinez, which I want to share with you, because the question there was, could Lautaro Martinez be available but then start from the bench? And Inzaghi's reply was really, really interesting because he said, a player who can't start the game is unlikely to help much in the final minutes. So his sensations will tell us everything. Unfortunately, we've had many setbacks this season, but we know we have a well-equipped squad. We have a light training session tomorrow. That's when I'll make my decisions. Always try to do my best for Inter, as I've always done over the years. So all or nothing for Lautaro Martinez, and apparently it's going to be all because he's going to start for the Nerazzurri. I don't think that he's going to play the full 90 minutes because, only a couple of days ago, Inzaghi's assistant, Massimiliano Farri, said that for Lautaro to be available against Barcelona was more no than yes, he said. So even Inter were not too confident that Lautaro would recover for the Barcelona game. But the improvements that he made over the last few days have convinced, apparently, Inter to give him a starting spot. I also want to share with you a Lautaro Martinez Instagram post from the last few hours before today's training session. I think it's something that is shared actually last night on Sunday. And it says everything about the desire that he has to be available against Barcelona tomorrow. He's one of the best scorers in the Champions League this season and Inter's best scorer as well. So this is the social media post from Lautaro Martinez. Didn't use many words, but these emojis here and the picture of him in the gym confirmed that he really wanted to give a big push and be available for the Nerazzurri in what is clearly the most important game of the season for Inter. Simone Inzaghi said something else as well about Barcelona. and especially about Lamine Yamal, because of course the hype on Lamine Yamal is out of this world, not just in Spain but in Italy as well, because what he did in the first leg semifinal really was impressive. And I don't want to say surprised many Italian media and fans, but seeing a team that struggles that much, giving the ball continuously to a 17-year-old kid, was really something that we had not witnessed too many times over the last 20 years, and perhaps not even Messi and Ronaldo were at this level at 17, this level of confidence and this level of trust from their teams. And it really looked like the technical leader of Barcelona, despite being only 17 years old. So what Inzaghi said about Lamine Yamal, it's here. The question, of course, was how will you stop Lamine Yamal? It's difficult, replied Simone Inzaghi. We'll try to prevent him from getting the ball, although it's almost impossible in modern football. He'll be marked closely, he'll get double up on, and we'll try to be careful. As I said after the first leg, seeing him live is an extraordinary talent. He's incredibly dangerous at his age. They give him the ball in tough moments, exactly what Inzaghi said. What's impressive is that really he's given the ball even when the team, especially when the team is in tough times, and he's tasked with solving the team's problems. At 17, it's not something too common to see. When he gets the ball, finishing Inzaghi already knows what he's going to do next. So the Inter plan would be to even prevent Lamine Yamal from getting the ball, even if, of course, it's going to be very different. Federico Di Marco is still expected to start on the left. On that part of the pitch, there will be Henrik Mkhitaryan, who will help in double up the marking. And then if Lamine Yamal manages to beat them with dribbles or with passes or with through balls, it will be Alessandro Bastoni's turn to try to stop it closer to the Inter box. It's going to be very tough, but Inter have, I think, experience and solidity to get a result against Barcelona and reach the second Champions League final in 3 years. It will all come, I think, to the experience and to how the Nerazzurri are able to withstand to the Barcelona pressing. They know that they're going to press from start to finish, so they need to be just, very united at the back and counter-attack just as they did against Barcelona, because the chances they created against Barcelona in Barcelona were enough to even win the game. There were incredible goals from both sides. It was a spectacular game, but Inter need that basic. They need to be very strong in defense and counter-attack as much as they can, as good as they can, but also they need to defend not too close to the box, because what we saw in the first leg was an Inter side that, especially in the first half, they sat too deep when they were 2-0 up, and they struggled to get to the end of the game, to the end of the first half with a 2-goal lead, and in fact, the first half ended in a 2-2 draw. What they need to do is try to not play with a very high line, but somewhere in between, inside the box, and being too high and vulnerable to counterattacks, and try to win the game in midfield. And I think Nicolo Barella, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Mkhitaryan will be key in this process, because they will need to do both phases, be very good with the ball at their feet, but also being very good in the counter pressing, because they will need to keep Barcelona as far as possible from their box. And regarding Barcelona, before I finish this video, there is an important update on Robert Lewandowski as well, because Lewandowski is part of the team that went to San Siro for the game. So he's available, but Hansi Flick said that he would start on the bench and be introduced in the second half if Barcelona need. Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde are still not available for Barcelona. And Ferran Torres is expected to start as a center forward, as he did in the first leg played at Montjuic last week. So Lautaro Martinez starting for Inter, Robert Lewandowski starting on the bench for Barcelona. And this is pretty surprising, because last week, at the end of last week, especially after the updates given by Barcelona and Inter, it was probably more likely to see Lautaro Martinez on the bench or not available at all, and Lewandowski probably even starting for Barcelona. But Lewandowski's been out for more than 2 weeks now, so it makes sense that Barcelona are a little bit cautious with him and give him some time if needed in the second half. While Inter, I expect them to have a very strong start because I don't see Lautaro Martinez playing for the full 90 minutes. It's excellent that he's available. It's excellent that he's very likely to start. But I expect an Inter side that have a strong start and try to put as much pressure as they can on Barcelona in the opening minutes because they know that in the second part of the game they will have probably less support and less help from their strikers, and especially from Lautaro Martinez because he's not fully fit. So I don't expect him to finish the game. Very hard to say who will make it. Hopefully, as Italians, we all hope Inter qualify for the final, which will be played in Munich against Arsenal or PSG. But let's see, because the first leg said that this game really is unpredictable and these players can really make anything happen. So I'll analyze the match as usual with you after the game. If you like this video and you like Serie A, you like Italian football, subscribe to my channel because there will be more content coming up in the next few days. Thank you very much, and leave me your prediction as well for Inter Barcelona.